Hello, welcome to Lemmy Studios, home of the Lemmy vs. Limey games. I'm your official Zeke Lamone, and today they face off in Paranormal Activity 3. Paranormal Activity 3 takes place in 1988 and shows how the activity began with Katie and Christy being kids. This movie set a bunch of records when it first came out. First off, at midnight it made $8 million alone, and on opening day it made $26.2 million. And as for the whole weekend, it made $52.6 million, which was a record until Pennywise showed up in 2017. As for the whole entire box office run, it made $207 million on just a $5 million budget. Now, money-wise, it's not the only thing that it found success in. It was also the second highest ranking movie of all 6 Paranormal Activities, both critically and commercially on Rotten Tomatoes, just behind the first movie. Now, this has found success in just about every single aspect, but where will it land on the lemon scale? Well, let's find out. We kick off in Carlsbad, California, where Daniel and Christy are getting Hunter's room ready until Katie shows up and drops off some cassette tapes that were then later stolen in the events of the second movie. And I'm sorry, just what is this cold open? I mean, if you take it out and we just jump straight to 1988, what do we miss? I mean, honestly, it was just so unnecessary. I mean, the tagline to this movie is "See how the activity began," and this whole concept here just sets up a whole lot of limeys. First off here, is that Daniel says that the only thing that was missing from the house is the cassette tapes that Katie dropped off. So did the cult member just grab them and was just like, you know what, I'm gonna watch these. We'll have some more later, but, I just really wish that we would have kicked off in 1988. Anyways, we are now in Santa Rosa, California, where the first video that a cult member watches is Katie's birthday. Now, I may not like how we got here, but this is a very understandable and real thing to record. It's here we get a breakdown of who's who in our Paranormal Activity movie. We got the person who records everything, Dennis, Julie, who is the mother of Katie and Christy. Of course, there's Katie and Christy, and Grandma Lois. I mean, come on, guys. You didn't even try to not make her look evil. They keep the realism of filming going with Christy losing her first tooth, and this is where we find out that the demon's name was not John Cena, but it was in fact Toby Flanderson from HR. Man, no wonder Michael didn't like him. The next video up is the first day of school, and this is where we see the mom take the picture of Katie that we see in the first 2 films. And I must say, guys, I gotta give movie these props for keeping such little details throughout the whole entire franchise and explaining them. Dennis is working when he hears a slight bang, and then he goes to investigate it. Man, this movie does not waste any time getting straight to the activity. Although, why is he bringing the camera? I'm sorry, for 1988, and this is his job, there is no way that he is bringing a camera to investigate a slight bang in the house. Although the activity overall is pretty good. You got a little slight bangs that going throughout the whole entire house. The closet door opens a little bit. There's a Teddy Ruxpin. Those things are creepy. So, for that, I have to give a Lemmy. Julie and Dennis decide to get high and then make a sex tape. And I'm sorry, so, from our cold open, right? This means that Katie and Christy had their mom's sex tape on hand, correct? And just... ew, why would you want to... Why would you go through the tape? Why would you want to... Limey! An earthquake happens before anything good can happen, and there's a little speck of dust that falls into a human-shaped form, and that we can only assume is Toby. And, guys, I gotta tell you, I am such a fan of, seeing things that were there that we didn't know that was there before. To me, that's just really creepy, and I will give a Lemmy for this. Even if Toby is a big perv for wanting to watch them have sex. He attempts to show Julie the outline of it the next day, but she does not see anything, which of course she doesn't. We always need at least one character to not believe anything is weird. His friend Randy shows up, and Dennis decides to change up the contrast a little bit so that he can see it better. So tell me, Dennis, why didn't you do that for Julie so she could see better? This gives Dennis the idea to set up cameras around the house, and now officially is night 1, where Toby is talking to Christy, and which I assume is Dennis, because she's like, no, he's nice to me, I like him, he's cool. Dennis tries to talk to Christy about it, but she says if she shares what they were talking about, that she would be in really big trouble. Dennis and Randy later that day hear a noise, and they go to investigate in the bathroom, and no! Another one! Another tiny mirror. You know what the real sad part is about this mirror, guys? You know what's really sad about this one? This one's literally the third string. Because, look, there's the regular mirror, which is huge. And then, when they go to the closet, it's a closet mirror. The whole door is a mirror. So, I could see them using that mirror. I could see them using the regular mirror. But that little tiny mirror? No, you're not going to use it. It's stupid. Why do houses have these freaking mirrors? We skip to night 5, and Toby's just wanting to make sure that the electricity is working. We know it's Toby here because the girls are actually sleeping outside camping. He is also making a big ruckus that wakes up Julie and Dennis, and when Dennis goes to investigate, Toby wants to close the door for them. But Dennis is like, nah, we sleep with the door open. And that's just something I will never understand, even if I sleep alone or have kids. I will always close my door while I sleep. The next day, Grandma Lois is trying to convince Julie that, hey, you should have another kid. But more specifically, a boy. And Dennis MacGyver's a new camera setup, which is the coolest setup in the whole entire Paranormal Activity franchise. You see, it's a fan. And it's one of those fans that move from left to right. And it like moves, and then you stay for 3 seconds, and then it moves to the kitchen. And you get the kitchen in the living room. It's so cool. The next night, Christy is just playing with Toby the whole entire time. And then the next day, Christy is being questioned by Julie about Toby. Chris is like, look, man, you don't have to ask me. You can just ask Toby. He's standing right behind you. And that following night, Julie goes to get some water, and then a light explodes. And then the next day, it's tea party time. And Dennis almost sits in Toby's spot. And look, Christy's line delivery is great. And this whole entire tea party scene is actually kind of creepy, knowing there's an actual demon there. And if you actually care about the kids, I mean, it's top-notch stuff to me. Lisa is babysitting while the parents go out and have a date night. And Katie shows Lisa her beads. And I just love that Katie always had bead time, even as a kid. Lisa also makes fun of the ghost. And you can just tell this makes Toby angry. I remember watching this in theaters and just be like, yep, she's dying. This then leads to a great sequence, probably one of the best that Paranormal Activity has ever done out of all 6 movies. It has that great camera setup, you know, with the fan going back and forth. And while Lisa's doing homework, Toby is just mocking her with the sheet as he gets closer to her, and then it falls. It's one of my favorite sequences of the whole entire franchise. So, of course, I'm going to give a Lemmy for this. Lisa then goes upstairs, and she gets pushed by Toby, and this freaks her out enough where she just waits for the parents to get home, and she runs out the door so fast when they do. When Dennis shows Randy what happened to Lisa that night, Randy goes, hey, did you show Julie this footage? And Dennis goes, what? No way, man. But, like, Dennis, have you been trying to prove to Julie that something's been going on in the house this whole entire time? And now that you actually have footage, you're not going to? What? That night, Christy does the Katie stand and stare for an hour and a half. And this leads to a problem that I have with not just this movie, but with this franchise as a whole. You see, in the first movie, it was established that this demon was following Katie the whole entire time. And now that's been retconned, because now since Toby is Christy's imaginary friend, it was following Christy the whole entire time. It wasn't following Katie. And to me, that's just a problem. Like, you just completely ignored the first movie. After she stands and stares, she then dumps Toby, because he wants her to do something that she does not like. The next day, Christy is sick, so they need someone to watch Katie while they go to the hospital, so they call Randy. And then Katie wants to do Bloody Mary, so they go to Katie and Christy's bathroom, and thank God, because I did not want to see that little mirror again, and... What? No. No, they have one too? What? They have 2 of them? There's 2 of those mirrors in this bathroom? This movie's just trying to piss me off, man. They play Bloody Mary, and Randy gets cut up, and then the door gets banged on, and then Toby decides to show him how much he does not like tea time. This makes Randy quit, and Dennis decides to show Julie what has been going on. But instead of showing her convincing footage, he shows her pictures of a cult. Dennis, I like you, man, but you're dumb. Although during their argument, Katie gets yanked up by the hair by Toby, and that was pretty cool. That night, Dennis is hard at work wearing noise-canceling headphones and Julie is asleep. And even though we established that she can wake up to the simplest of noises like footsteps, the TV turned on by itself and staticking does not. And that also makes her not able to hear the loud commotion that Toby is causing and the yelling that Katie and Christy are doing. Wow. They just... Because movie this, right? Because there's no way that she is staying asleep through all that, and there's no way Dennis is wearing noise-canceling headphones because he's the one that something weird is going on in the house. This commotion does cause Christy to finally agree to do what Toby wants her to do, as long as he lets Katie go. The next day, Christy tries to convince her mom to go to Grandma Lois's house. And when that doesn't work, Grandma Lois herself tries to convince her daughter to come to her house. And when that doesn't work, Toby goes, fine, I'll do it myself. And then drops the whole kitchen on Julie. Oh my god, that was awesome! This is enough to get them to Grandma Lois's house, which is in Moon Park, California. And I'm sorry, look, movie's got a movie, but I really don't see why they're filming. Does Dennis really believe Paranormal Activity is going to be happening at Grandma Lois's house? I really doubt he does. The girls are being distant towards Dennis, and we are officially into the finale. And I must say, guys, to me, this is one of the strongest endings of the whole entire franchise. I enjoy how Grandma Lois is just chilling in the background. I also enjoy the house itself. It just has a creepy feel to it. The jump scare with the old ladies, it gets me almost every single time. And that's really hard to do, and to do it consistently. I also enjoy how Julie floats up and then just gets thrown down the stairs. Like, this ending to me, they didn't do too much with it. Like, even the backbreak I also enjoy. And even with the girls, you know, being happy and saying, come on, Toby, let's go. It's really creepy to me. However, I will also give a Limey to the ending, just one Limey. I gave a bunch of Lemmys, but I'll give one Limey for the same ending as well. Like, yes, it's creepy that they leave, that they are happy, but they were being sad at first. They were being distant towards Dennis. Chrissy obviously did not want them to go to the house, so their parents will die. And yeah, their mom and stepdad that they really liked just died. There's no way that they're going to be that happy. And for those who just want to make sure that they got their facts straight, for me giving both a Lemmy and a Limey for the girls being happy in the ending, yes. Yes, I did. Paranormal Activity 3 continues the lesson that all three movies serve, which is listen to your partner. Julie was so dismissive of all of Dennis's worries just because he never had kids before and she did, and it ended up costing hers and his life. Our first of three standout performances goes to the young actress playing Christy, Jessica Tyler Brown. She played a creepy little girl perfectly. Our second standout goes to all the because movie moments. There were just so many of them that I couldn't just give a separate Limey for each and every single one. Our final standout goes to the tempo of this movie. This had a really nice beat to it. To me, there was never really a dull moment, and it made a really quick hour and 30 for me. So, this is how the lemon scale works. If I did not like the movie, it is a sour lemon. If I didn't like it, but hey, there's something to enjoy here, it is an expired store-bought lemonade. If I liked it, but hey, there's a lot of problems to it, I can see why some people will not, it is a store-bought lemonade. If I like the movie, it's good, it's a lemonade. If I really like the movie with some minor picks from here and there, it is a freshly squeezed lemonade. And if I really like the movie 10 out of 10, I would have to really think hard to think of the problems there is to it. It is a strawberry lemonade because that is the best kind of lemonade. And with a score of 29 to 20 favoring Lemmy, that makes Paranormal Activity 3 a lemonade. This was probably one of the best trilogies to me for a horror franchise. And they really should have ended it here, but they decided to keep going. I mean, making $208 million off a $5 million budget, of course you are. We're going to take a little bit of a break before we get to Paranormal Activity 4. But until next time, I will see you here at Lemon Studios.